Hey everybody, good morning. It's Nick from Defined Life, and we are going through how to turn planning into action this week. We're going to talk about the things that we do at the beginning of each week in Define My Day, from laying out your milestones, the action you're going to take this week toward your big goals that align with your purpose. We're going to talk about your ideal day and how you should structure your day. We're going to talk about your disciplines and habits and what all of that means. So I'm looking forward to talking about this with you today. We are going to have a giveaway today. So this weekend, for our email subscribers or text message subscribers, we did a we did a giveaway, and we still will be, that with each purchase of either a 3 pack or a 5 pack. This is kind of like a Black Friday deal. We're giving away some friction erasable pens. These are our favorite pens. So if you buy a 3 pack of Define My Day, we have a pre-built bundle made where you get a free package of pens, 5 pack of pens, or if you buy a 5 pack of Define My Day, you get a free 8 pack of pens. So I'm going to be giving away a free package of these pens at the end of our session to somebody who comments along the way here. So we'll just randomly pick a comment. So 8 pack of pens. These are pretty cool. They have all the different colors: black, blue, light blue. Looks like a purple, burgundy, pink, green, or which is lime they call it, and orange. So I love these. These are good for different people do different sections of their book with this. I actually when I'm on like a container program or I'm counting my different macros, I will use a different color for each macro and kind of like check off on my grid page and Define My Day, which we will not be talking about today. But there's a grid page at the beginning of each week, and you can use it for whatever you want, doodle or whatever. And I I color in a block for macros for each day, and then I mark off how many of each one I ate. So like red would be protein. So like if I'm allowed five, I color in a block red, put a five next to it, and then mark off each time I eat a protein. So it's my fun little way of keeping track of my food. Although it can get time consuming, so that's kind of why I fall out of the habit with it. Certain things I want to spend time on, certain things I don't. But hey, whatever. All right. So good to see you guys. Debbie, good morning. Shared. Awesome. Cool. Good morning, Sandy. Good to see you. Happy holidays. Yeah, we're going to be talking a little bit today about how to handle Define My Day and Christmas this week, because I know we're all thinking about it, right? So we'll talk about that too. Sherry, good to see you. Yeah, blessed to have another week to plan. Yes. Yes, absolutely. All right. So we have that. What's next on my agenda here? Okay, we talked about the giveaway. I want to do one of the random do one thing every day that centers you, which has actually become very popular. So check these out on our website. We have been selling quite a bit of these. I think people need to be a little bit more mindful. I think they're finding. All right, so let's see. We'll go towards the back, and this one is "Stop and smell the roses." Is the prompt right there, and the simple things that bring me pleasure on the weekend is the question. So this, I guess, if this happens to land on a weekend for you, it would be appropriate. But even if this day wasn't on the weekend, it's still a nice opportunity to think about the weekend, think ahead. So the simple things that bring me pleasure on the weekend, and for me, this weekend, it was getting the house in order, like doing some of the things around the house is always nice on the weekend to kind of reset for the Monday. But we look forward to football. We love watching football. We have fantasy football. We're in the playoffs right now with fantasy football. We have the Steelers playing tonight, so that's something that we try to enjoy. And a lot of times, even things we enjoy, and that's really the purpose of Define My Day, even in the holidays, on vacation, through the weekends, is that we tend to let it fly by without actually being present. So there are many times, for as much as we like playing football or watching football, I wish I could still play it, right? But as much as we like watching it, we get distracted. We maybe stare at our phones. We, start shuffling around the house, doing things around the house. And the next thing you know, like you missed the game, You miss the interaction with the people you're watching the game with. So you have to make sure that your actions align with what you really say you like. So if you like watching football and you like being in the presence of others watching football, then be in the presence of others. Like, be present in the presence of others. If you like entertaining, then, that's fine. Entertain. And, for me, early in the season when the games are less pivotal, I like entertaining. I like having people over, but I find that I don't actually see the game. So the day flies by and I spend all my time talking and entertaining and cooking and whatever, which is all good. But again, certain times it's good for me, certain times it's not. I have to be aware of it. And so whatever you find enjoyable, whether it's Christmas or Christmas Eve and cooking and entertaining, with all of that, make sure that you are, at the end of it, satisfied with what you experienced. You want to make sure that you're going through that day and it's making the biggest, that you're getting the most out of it that you could, that, whether it's the family experience or whatever, don't let it fly by. Did anybody else get snow this weekend? I know a lot of people on the East Coast got snow. We got like 8 to 10 inches. And it thawed a little bit, or, thawed a little bit as it was going through the day. But my kids have been sled riding, and, they've been doing all sorts of stuff outside, which is really, really nice. Starting to melt and go away now. As I look out the window, I can see the grass. But we're supposed to get another 4 inches Christmas Eve. So we'll have a white Christmas. I don't even know the last time I've seen a white Christmas around here. Kind of nice. All right, what else we got going on here? Oh, for anybody that follows us on Facebook regularly, there's an article out there that I posted, and I can always try to repost it. But there was an article about empathy. Everybody wants to be empathetic. Try to grow your empathy, your emotional intelligence. And there's a story about like how empathy, like we're almost like we're over, not that we are overdoing it, because I don't know that you can overdo empathy, but that we're kind of getting cold to empathy. Like, I guess it would be kind of, I thought about it like with a nurse. If the nurse is always dealing with people that are injured, they kind of get desensitized to it and detached from it. And they probably do to sort of protect themselves also. So, nurses aren't always caring. Sometimes they just want to get you healthy, right? And they don't want to hear all the stuff, and they don't really want to empathize with your situation because they can't empathize with everybody because it just sort of wears them down. So, this article was about like with all the things going on, like we just, it's hard to continue to be empathetic over and over again because we just get worn out by it. So, good article. Good article. Jonah says, good morning. Jan says, hello there. My kid, if you guys watch Star Wars, Mandalorian ended on Friday, and my kids loved it. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. But so, I don't know where he got this, but my one son, Ryan, has been walking around going, hello there, because that's the way that Obi-Wan Kenobi does it in the old movies. Not the really old ones, the episodes 1 through 3. Beverly, hiya. Jean, good morning from Proctor, Texas. Debbie says, finishing up my Christmas prep to allow me to enjoy the time this week was my weekend goal. Goal accomplished and joyful days ahead this week. That's awesome. That's what we're going to be talking about later on in this episode. This is what I want Define My Day to be for you. It's not all about work. It's about being conscious of what we want and making sure our actions align with it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Because in prior years, Debbie, even me, like I don't plan ahead and then I'm running around like crazy and I'm not enjoying these days. It's happened whether I was, prepping dinner for a random day or a major holiday. Sherry says, I need to thank everyone for their prayers. My daughter was seen last week and the doctor wants to take a wait and see approach. No surgery or lymphoma treatment needed now, and she's starting to feel better. Very good. Very good. Very awesome, actually. Funny how you and your family are Sunday football fans. I've mentioned it before, but my husband and I are huge Saturday college football fans, and our team is headed to the playoffs. Awesome. It's funny, we never got into Saturday football. I don't know why. Maybe it's because Pittsburgh's a pro football Steelers town. I don't know why. Like we've occasionally watched some college games through this fall, but I've not been crazy about college football, and it could also be that I went to the University of Pittsburgh, and our football team has not been good since I was there, and so it's and I'm not a like Penn State fan or anybody else. But yeah, I know like people get crazy about college football. Yeah, Anthony says the Mandalorian was mind blowing. Yeah, I actually thought at the end of that episode, I thought they were going to cut it like 2 minutes or 5 minutes short and leave us hanging until next season. And I am really glad they did not, because I'm still going to watch next season. But we got some gratification at the end of that episode. And I'll tell you, I thought the first season was a little bit hokey, corny, maybe just a little bit. But I did not feel that way about this season. I've liked them both, but it was kind of a guilty pleasure last year. This one was really, really good. And like even the boys, like at the end of that episode, this last episode, the boys were like jumping up and down. I mean, it was pretty cool. It was a fun season to go through. It went by way too fast. So, but from the looks of it, I know this might not interest a lot of people, but I guess right now we're all watching a lot of TV, or more than we normally would. Disney has so much going on. Like Disney Plus was not a bargain for a while. It looks like it will be coming up. They have so many spin-offs of the Marvel series and the Disney Star Wars series. It's going to be crazy. Everybody seems to be getting their own plot lines now, and they're really well done. If Jon Favreau and the other guy continue to do the Star Wars stuff, I think it's all going to be very well done. Yeah, I agree. I love the way they told that story. Brandon says, working this week during Christmas, and DMD has helped me keeping everything straight. Thanks. Good morning, all. Yeah, Brenda, that's good. Good to hear. Sorry you're working. The boys are upset because they have school this week, Monday through Wednesday. I don't know why. It's not like we have snow days to plan for. But some of their friends in other districts don't have school this week, so they're a little jealous. Not that they need to spend any more time on their PlayStation. Anthony, watched it with your daughter. It was a nice moment to share. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it ties a lot of stuff together. I don't want to give anything away. Okay. Ba, 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 ba. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into this. First, we've gone through purpose, goal planning, kind of like the broad strokes, like the beginning of setting up to find my day. Now we're getting into the beginning of each week. So I'm going to get into some of this stuff. The one part I'm going to leave out is the to-do list, because we're going to tie that into next week when we talk about the individual days. So the first thing we're going to talk about here is, and let me get my head out of there, the ideal day. Now this page appears, as you see, across from this month's goals. And the ideal day is our effort to get ourselves into a good rhythm, offer ourselves structure for our day. The more we can structure our day so that we achieve this rhythm, the more efficient we can be with it. It can be incredibly hard, especially if we're in a reactive way of life. And I've been there. I know. I've been that guy that hits snooze as many times as possible and then gets out of bed, runs out of the house, and runs to work to be like 30 seconds late. I've been that guy. I've been that guy in a lot of different times in life. I've been that way with school and everything. And it's no way to live. It's really no way to live. And because you're starting your day disorganized and reacting to the world rather than taking intentional steps. I've gone the other direction where I tried to wake up too early and do too much. So the goal is to find the right place to end up so that you have the proper amount of structure and the proper amount of free time. And the end result should be, health and wellness. And we talked a few weeks ago about that river of well-being, right? Like being in the middle there, not being too close to the dead bank of discipline and rigidity, but not being on the tumultuous bank of chaos. So you want to be in the middle, floating down the river, nice, high, happy, and healthy. And so on this page, you have a timeline here, and I apologize. It's not like a 24-hour timeline. I tried to hit the majority of people, and some people that work nights and things. You can adjust this a little bit for yourself. You don't have to be super strict and say, well, it doesn't apply to me. But so we start at 4 a.m. and it ends at midnight. And so, this is basically an outline to help you just sort of broadly structure your day. And there are instructions on the right side. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I want you to keep in mind as you're going through this that you want to, like, the bookends are huge. Waking up and going to sleep at the same time every day is a big deal. And they say that even changing that an hour, like on the weekend, if you sleep in on the weekends or you go to bed late, even changing that has a cascading negative impact for a few days afterward. Now, look, are we going to be so rigid that that doesn't happen? Not a chance. I go to bed late on weekends. I wake up a little bit late on weekends. I'm not going to change that, but I do have to understand that that's what's happening. And so at other points in time, I want to make sure that I'm waking up the same time every day, unless something goes wrong, like if I don't sleep all night or whatever. There are always, there's always a reason why something might not work out the way we intend, but we want to try to be as consistent as possible. So you frame in there, your morning routine and your habit stack that usually consists of some disciplines that we'll talk about in a minute. But you want to try to do the same thing every day so it becomes automatic. So you wake up, you go do your morning routine in the bathroom, you go eat breakfast. Like, it's become, for me, common. Like, I know at 7:30, I'm going to go in and wake up my boys, and then we're going to go down and have breakfast. That was actually hard for me, even 4 months ago. Like before school started, obviously, it didn't happen. But now that school's going on, it was hard to get into that until I got used to it. And now it's just it's a normal part of my morning. We go down and we sit together and have breakfast for 10 minutes until I have to come upstairs and get ready for class. And that's just, now it's just part of the routine, and it just happens, and it's blocked off in my day. And there's benefit to that. I get some focus time work done before it. I get relationship time with my boys at breakfast, and then we go off in our separate directions. That's important to me. That aligns with my values and purpose that we talked about earlier. And so, I then, hit into, I want to put on this calendar, my priority time. My goal, if your priority time is work related, even if it's not work related, if you're retired, your priority time, you want to have it fall on this timeline as early as possible. Because if something goes wrong, then you always have time. You can shift that priority time to the end of the day or later in the day. But if you do all the goofy stuff in the morning, like all the random stuff that doesn't need to happen in the morning, and an emergency pops up, then your afternoon is shot, your evening is shot, and you didn't get your priority done. So you didn't move forward, right? You didn't move toward whatever your goal was. So you give yourself some slack by having your priority earlier in the day. Now, again, if your priorities don't align with work and you have to work an 8-hour shift or a 10-hour shift, I understand. Like, there's differences for the way people structure their days for different reasons. Your work might not have anything to do with your priorities. That's okay. The other reason we do this, why we try to front load priority time, and this comes out of the book Willpower. I don't have a physical copy of it. It was a digital version, but the book Willpower by Baumeister is really, really good. And they explain that willpower is a resource we have that diminishes as we use it through the day until we rest up. And we can use our willpower on the things that are really important, like our priorities, or we can use our willpower on other things, distractions, to-do list things, emotionally distressing things, fighting cravings. Like all of those things cause us to use our willpower. So the more we can try to avoid that, the better. But also, front loading our priorities, make sure that we have the highest reserve of willpower possible. And so at the end of the day, when you're exhausted, drained, you've used all your willpower on other things, then it's time to do the hard work, and you're like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna wait till tomorrow. We don't want that to happen. We want to get in the habit of doing the stuff we need to do. So, as you're working through this, Roy Baumeister, Debbie, was the author of Willpower. And so, and I'll put a link in the comments later. As you're going through your day, the broad, you can read the instructions in the book, but the broad scope of this is you want to have as much structure as possible so that you're doing the same things roughly every day in the same order, front loading your most important things so you can get them done while you still have the energy to do it. All right, next one. We're going to talk about the weekly planner page. I don't have a photo of it, so where'd my book go I just had? Oh, I just had a book. I must have put it down somewhere. Okay. Wow, I'm sorry. Hold on one second. I don't know where I took it. Okay, I'm back. All right, so our weekly page here. This is our weekly planning page. This is the only part of this book that's not part of the process. This was added because we wanted to try to help people, give you like a calendar view looking forward for the week. And so with this one, you can use it any way you want. The way I used mine this week was that I planned my meals, especially the Christmas meals, right? So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is how I order my days in this view. Day one for me is not Sunday, it's Monday. And so tonight, I know we're having wings for the football game. Tomorrow, I didn't have anything. Thursday, we do Arabic food. Christmas Eve, we do bagels and eggs in the morning. In the evening, we do the 7 fishes. And then on Christmas Day, we have lasagna and chicken cutlets and things we're making on Christmas Day. So I outlined everything that I needed to have. And what that does for me is show me that I have to make dinner this day because we're not going to have leftovers from tonight. And I see what we're having all these other days, and it's all real heavy food. So now I get a little view into what this one is, and I can say, okay, I'm going to have something light and healthy, like probably chicken and vegetables or, a salad or something, right? Other people, and what I've also done with this, depending on my week, I have pre-planned some priorities. So if I know I have a milestone that requires a lot of like coordinating through the week, it's like if you look at like any kind of a larger project, but if you have something big at work and you're trying to get to an endpoint by Friday, you have steps along the way. So I work back from Friday and work backwards, and sometimes there's some erasing involved, but you try to plan your priorities for the week on this one page, and then you can go back to the individual pages as you're going through the week to fill it in. But there's a lot of things people do with this. You can make little notes, you can write to-do list items on here, to-do listy things for the week. This is just to try to help you figure out where you're going with this. You can throw appointments on here too. I've done that also. Most of my stuff, though, is on my digital calendar, so that's why I don't really use this page for that. All right, going forward, milestones. So milestones are the components of your monthly goals. So going back to this page, on the left side there, you see your monthly goals. Your milestones should almost always be a part of the goals that show up on that left page there. So if your goal, if you're let me get an example here. If your professional goal is to, now let's go health goals. Health goals are more universal. Say my health goal is to exercise 20 times per week or per month. 20 times per week would be a lot. Say my exercise goal is 20 times per month. So that's easily divisible by 4. I need to work out 5 times in a week. So if I go here to my milestones, and in fact, this is one of my milestones this week, especially, I had to bring it forward, especially because of Christmas. And, there's 2 like gut shot days there where I'm not going to want to exercise. But my goal for this week is to exercise 5 times. Normally it's 6 or 7, and I don't even have to write it on this page because it's just part of my routine. It's part of my ideal day. This week, things are going to fall off track. I'm anticipating that. I know that's going to happen. So on here, I think it's probably number 4 on mine. Exercise 5 times this week is my milestone. Directly relates to my goal of 20 times per month, and my weight and my leading and lagging goals indicators. But so that's how that relates here. So then that would flow into my priorities. So my priorities is, some days it might not even, like, that might not show up. Exercise, take care of myself. It might not show up because it's just going to happen. I know it's going to happen. Not a big deal. But Christmas Eve, my priority might, on one of those, might be exercise. Because as I'm going through that, that's my commitment to myself today. I know it's going to be a struggle. I'm going to want to screw around. I need exercise today. I need to exercise a half an hour. In fact, yesterday, my 2 priorities, one of them was family time, which is watching football with the boys and doing things around the house. The other one was me, and one of the big ones for me under that was exercise. So halfway through the day yesterday, kind of sitting around, had a little bit of free time. I'm like, all right, this is the perfect time to go downstairs and exercise for half an hour. And I did it because it was on my list. The other parts of this page, a primary struggle I need to overcome this week, and this is very personal. This is a very personal statement. Like, what is going to slow me down? For this week, it's Christmas week. There's going to be family. There's going to be, like, stressors. There's going to be distractions. Like, we need to pre-identify that so that in our minds, when it starts to happen, we can say, you know what? I knew this was going to happen, and I said this is how I was going to handle it, right? So you're just priming yourself. You're thinking through the situation before it happens so that you can handle it in the way that you want to handle it. And that's the second part of it. So the first part is the struggle. And it could be a simple word, distractions, negative comments. I'm out of my routine. I've let distractions, there's going to be a lot of distractions coming up this week. Whatever that might be for you, that's what you want to identify there. And you can identify it with one word, or you can write out a detailed statement. It's whatever fits for you. And then I will overcome it by, this is the action you're going to take. So you have the problem, and this is the action you're going to take to handle it in a positive way. So that's your milestones page. The last one here is one of the more important pages in Define My Day that is not the daily page. This is huge. A lot of people in our group have read Atomic Habits by James Clear. We reference him a lot because I think he has very good points. And if you don't follow him, follow him. It's James Clear, and Atomic Habits is the book. In fact, I have it right here. The other one is Charles Duhigg's The Power of Habit. Also an incredible book. I read that one a couple of years ago. Very good book. What we're trying to do here with these daily disciplines is create habits for ourselves. They might even, for a lot of people, be priorities, but priorities that happen every day repetitively. So, a priority is as simple as brushing your teeth, right? If you're somebody that wants, your goal is to one of your goals is to be happy and healthy, and part of that vision is a nice set of teeth, even when you're 75 or 80, then you don't want to write on your daily, like, brush teeth today, right? But maybe you want it to be just part of your regular routine. So you just write it on here, brush teeth in the morning, brush teeth in the evening, whatever, brush teeth after each meal. Whatever it might be for you, you put it in here, and your ultimate goal is to follow it and fill in these blocks every single day. This is sort of a way to create rules for yourself. So when you were a kid, my kids, we actually started doing this on a whiteboard. They have things they need to do every day. At the end of the school day, they need to throw away all their trash, any food, any papers, anything. They need to organize their space. That's a check mark. They need to brush their teeth every morning. One of them needs to feed the dog. The other one needs to clean up the dog poop. So there's all these things that they check off every day. That's part of their rules that we have to enforce for them, right? This is the same thing for you. This is you being your own parent. This is you managing yourself in your own time. And these are the things that, you don't like there should be a reason behind it, and it should directly connect to your values, even in sort of an obscure way. Like you go to that teeth brushing thing, look, like, my goal is to have clean teeth. Like, it's not a life goal to have clean teeth, right? But it's a component of that greater life goal of being healthy. And it can also, look, you don't want to have to pay for dentist appointment and root canals, and like there's like, you stop doing one thing and it's a cascade effect in the wrong way. There's a financial strain, there's a health issue, there's constant inflammation, like it becomes a problem. And so these are the small things that help build a strong foundation for ourselves in a healthy physically and mental way, right? And the things we gave you on here are the basic ones that we recommend. If there's one I'm going to add to this, it's going to be meditation. I think everybody should meditate for 2 minutes a day at the very least, because I think it grows so much in here. It's on my list every day. But we added on here rest, exercise, eat well, drinking water, reading, and having positive interactions. These are our like must-haves every day, because if you're not doing these 6 things every single day, the results that you want in life are going to be really hard to come by. If you're not constantly focusing on the amount of rest you get in a day, and for some people it might be 5 hours, other people it might be 10, but if you're not feeling rested, if you're not getting rest, every day is going to be that much more of a struggle. Same thing with things like exercise. If you're not generating energy for yourself through exercise, if you're not healthy, the end result is not going to be a happy place. Eating well is the same thing. You got to fuel yourself with food that helps you grow and helps you be the best person you can be. All of these are subjective in how you implement them. Some people, exercise might be a 10-minute walk. Other people, it might be a 2-minute or a 2-hour hike. It might be high intensity cardio for one person. It might be yoga for somebody else. How you define it is up to you, but some form of it is absolutely necessary. Positive interactions, very subjective. You just have to look back at your day and go, you know what? Overall, today's interactions were positive. You can also say, like, if I have this interaction, that's definitely negative. So my day is going to be defined by not having this type of interaction, whether it's blowing your lid or whatever it might be. Like, this is the interaction I need to avoid for me to be able to check this off. You can define it for yourself. Reading is, I think we all need to educate ourselves. I think you need to read, even if it's only 5 minutes a day. That might be your benchmark there. Pick up a book, read 2 pages. Whatever it is, it's that important. You will learn so much by doing it. Other things I've had on here, I've had picking up dog poop. I've had, what do I have on here now? I have taken my supplements every day, taken my vitamins. I have flossing before bed every night, because that's one thing that I could say, oh, I'll do it in the morning. I want to do it every night. That's the healthiest way for me. Meditating. I said meditating's on there. That's on there for me. My daily Stoic, reading the daily Stoic every day is on there for me. Define my day is on there for me. There's a couple times when I've had a blank spot and I go, you know what? That's not being an example. Your job is to be an example for everybody else. You're not being an example if you don't define my day every day. So that's on there for me. But it can be whatever you want it to be for you. Some people, I make a phone call to a family member every day. I say I love you. I knew a guy that he gave his wife 3 hugs every day. It's whatever it is to you. And let me circle back to the 3 hugs, because a lot of people say, well, if you have to write that down, then you're just not doing it right. That's false. How many times do we let things go for days, weeks, months? It's like that relationship where you say, well, we have to get together sometime. Okay, but when, right? How marriages drift apart because the husband and wife stop paying attention to each other because they just didn't do the little things that if they just said, you know what, I didn't say I love you today. And so, if you have a little thing at the end of the day, and you're laying in bed and you're just looking over your daily disciplines at the end of the day, and you're like, oh, I didn't say I love you, because that's one of your disciplines. I tell my spouse I love them, and so you're laying in bed and you're like, you know what? You roll over and say I love you, and that's it. Yep, check it off. And it's not to say that everybody wants to think all of this stuff comes naturally. Writing down your priorities, saying I love you to the people you love, picking up the phone, making a phone call. It all should be natural, but it's not. It's not. So this is just our way of making it important in our lives and coming back to it, and you know doing it. And so we make sure that our actions every day align with where we want to go. Now, one of the complaints about even the daily discipline list, but also our to-do list, is that there's only room for 7 days on this. Why not just have it at the beginning of the book so that you can do it 28 times on one page? And my goal is this: I want to have to think about these things at the beginning of every week. How many times have you gone through Define My Day, where by Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday especially, you stop doing some things? So if you've done this daily discipline, it starts off real strong in the beginning of the week, and then you see a lot more spaces as you go through the week. I don't want you to get through an entire month and go, holy, I didn't do anything for the past 2 weeks. I didn't check off anything because I completely forgot about my daily disciplines list. I want it to be in your face at least once a week so that you can see it again, right? And so I have it on there. I want to make you write out the added ones that you have. I used to write them out every day for myself. When I had this all on one sheet, my Define My Day was on the front page, on the back page were my disciplines. And I would have to write them out every single day. And what that does when you do that work, it implants it into your brain. And that's what we're doing. We're making this just a little bit more work once a week so that you have to write them out. One, to determine that they're important enough to write out. And two, so that you're digesting it one more time. And you're going, you know what? Yep, I'm going to do this. It's worth me spending the time to write it down. I'm going to do it this week. And this is just to develop a rhythm, right? We're just trying to get this. We're trying to be healthy and put these things into our routine so that it just becomes part of us. The same way brushing your teeth becomes part of you at a young age. The same way saying I love you to somebody becomes part of you after you do it enough. So whatever something in your life is right now that it just needs to be a habit. It just needs to be a habit. It doesn't have to be written down as a priority every single day. It needs to be a habit. We need to have this little piece of structure, to help us put that into our lives. I had a thought and I lost it, so I'll come back to it if I think of it. Let me hit the comments real quick. Yeah, Roy Baumeister is the author of Willpower. The basic ones build a foundation. Absolutely. Never thought I'd be meditating, but I do at least 5 days a week. Yeah, meditating was hard for me. 2 minutes seemed like a lifetime. It was torture. Now I'm doing 20, and it's actually pretty nice. But I find that if I don't do it for a couple of days, 20 minutes becomes really hard again. And so I can see through that I'm making progress. And so hitting this idea that what's hard is generally what we need to do. Like, some things are hard for the sake of being hard and we just should never do it again. Other things are hard because it's not what comes naturally to us, but we need to do it because the end result we want is beyond it. And that's the way I look at Define My Day as a whole. When anybody says, I can't do this, or I don't want to do this, my question is, what results have you been getting so far? Why did you buy it? Are you 100% happy? You're happy with where your life is going? You're happy with the results you're getting from a daily, weekly, monthly basis? If you're happy, yeah, then it just might be added work that you don't need. But if you're not, like, if there's something missing, if you keep letting things slip, let things slide, you're not reaching your goals, you don't feel like your life is on the path that you want it to be on, Well, then you need some structure. You need to daily focus, realign your focus so that you're moving in the direction that you want to go. That's why this is hard. Eventually, it won't be so hard anymore, and your results will be a lot different. So that's the way meditation is. Right? If meditation is hard for you, that means you need to do more meditation. Like if swimming is hard for you, but you need to get across the river or across the lake or whatever, the only way you do it is by practice swimming, so swimming is easier. So what is hard is generally what needs to be done. Reading, for me, was incredibly hard. I could not read a page and at the end of it go, I know what I read, because my mind was everywhere, all over the place, thinking about everything else I had to do in the world except what I was reading. And I would read the entire page. I just wasn't bringing it in because I was blocking it out with all the other thoughts I was having. But the more I read, the more I kept rereading that page until I read the page, the better I got at reading, the better I got at digesting what I was reading, and the more efficient I became at reading. And now I can read a lot faster and understand what I'm reading better without having those times. And it still happens. But when my mind goes off, oh yeah, I remember when that used to happen all the time. It's not happening all the time anymore. And so what we're doing with these daily disciplines is building up that I need to do this every day. So I'm going to do it every day. And I'm going to do it on repetition every day and build a healthy habit. A really easy way to get through some of these is what they call habit stacking. It's talked about in Atomic Habits. If you can compact a couple of these things, and I try to write them down in the order that I'm going to do them, because if you can compact some into a string of events or a habit stack, then it becomes just a little bit easier. So for me, my habit stack in the evening is that I put on my headphones, I put on an audio book or a podcast or even the news once in a while, and I will walk into the bathroom and do all of the things I need to do. I floss, I brush my teeth, I put in my retainer that I still have to wear even now. God. I'll do all the things I need to do, get dressed and everything I need to do to get to bed. There's probably like 5 or 6 things in my habit stack there. And in that 10 minutes, I've listened to a podcast and I've done all of these things, and it's just now natural. A couple of years ago, I might not have done any of that stuff. I might have just jumped in bed and that's it. But I created myself this habit stack so that I'm consistent with it every night before I get into bed. And I'm a healthier person for it. I feel better. And so in the morning is where that happens, and it's really impactful for a lot of people. And if you've read The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, you'll see he talks about like his Savers program, right? Where he has this just list of things that you want to do and you just block it off and you can do it in a half an hour. And if you do this stuff, you're so much further ahead than you ever were and that anybody else usually is because you've just blew it out and got all this stuff done. And there's exercise in there. There's, I can't even remember what Savers stand for at the moment, but he has a habit stack that he blows out in the morning. And so if you have your ideal day and you're creating your ideal day, you want to try to drop in your ideal day these daily disciplines and make it so that you can even call it stack one. Stack one, might be, 5 different things on your daily discipline list that you just do all in a row, and it'll just become normal. And if you know, like your brain just kind of hardwires it. And if like even in the morning, if somebody interrupts me while I'm going through my morning routine, I'll walk outside, an hour later on my way to an appointment and realize I didn't brush my teeth. And I know that happened because I have this habit stack where I'm not even thinking anymore. I just do one thing after the next, and it just happens, right? All the way through to getting dressed. But if you're interrupted, if the phone rings, somebody comes to the door, one of the kids is asking for something, then that habit stack is disrupted, and you have to get back somehow on track, and you might miss a step because now you're all sort of out of order, and your brain's just not lining them up the way that it normally does. That's the bad part of it, but for the most part, When you don't have to think about it, when you don't have to struggle with it, and it just happens, that's your brain conserving energy for the hard things. It's not using its willpower because you're just hard coded in there. And it's not using that brain power, and you're just off doing what's most important. You're using that brain power on your priorities. So you're developing rhythm, routine, building good physical and mental health. That's all of the reason for these daily disciplines. Don't put things in here that don't align with what you really want, because you don't want to put something in here that you're just you're not going to do it, and then you're just going to see that like failure staring you in the face every day. That's not what we want. We want to have small steps of growth on this page. So we want to show every day on here, check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark. Oh, no check mark. I'm going to do better next week. That's the way we need to look at it. We don't want to see a line of blank spaces. And then it's just like, okay, another week of not doing what I said I was going to do. We don't want that. That is not how we want to go about this. So don't overload this page. I mean, there's been times where I've had this page completely full. Right now, mine goes about 2/3 of the way down. Some of the stuff I put on there, and now it's just so ingrained I don't even need to think about it anymore. Other ones, I kind of realize that, it's just not important. I don't need to be doing this. Or it might be the season, I mean, if there's, I'm trying to think of something that I might do in the summer that I don't do in the fall, and I'm running a blank right now, but it might be the season. Maybe weeding the garden is a morning thing you want to do, or sitting outside and reading or whatever. Can't do that now if it's cold. And so you can take it off your list, and then you put it back on the list in the spring. So that's okay too. But I've had things that have been on here that now are no longer important to me at all, or it's so well ingrained that I don't even need to think about it. Or, if it's part of a habit stack, I can write down the first thing, and if I know I do the first thing, I'm just going to do the other things that follow. Then I only have to write down the one thing. But this is a simple tool that a lot of people might blow by, but this is one of the most important tools, especially from a mindset and a physical health perspective. This can mean the difference. And I would say, to be completely honest with you, if you were going to do two things with Define My Day, but had no idea where you wanted to go in life, if you're going to do an exercise, I would have you do two things. I would have you focus on having as much routine in your day as possible, and coming up with habits that take you forward every day. And just do those things. Have a good routine and define your daily disciplines, and do those every single day for a couple of weeks and see where that takes you. And then start evaluating your goals and your priorities and things like that. I think it would have a gigantic impact. And that's sort of what I did over years. Me reading every day, me committing to reading every day. I didn't say reading was my priority, but I did make a commitment to read every day. And that reading led me to a lot of other things. So develop healthy daily disciplines. All right. Let's see. What else are we going to talk about here? The last part of this is how we're going to use this for Christmas. And we already touched on it. And I think this kind of, like, when I say how to use this for Christmas, you can also say, how do I use it for the weekend? How do I use it for vacation? How do I use it during a pandemic? It's all the same, right? And so for me, this week, I look at, the work that I have. This is a blended week. Christmas Eve being a Thursday, I don't want to work on Christmas Eve. So if I don't want to work on Christmas Eve, I need to do all of my work Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. I also know there's some grocery shopping that's going to have to happen, right? So I need to start planning that probably earlier. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if I want to be able to have a 4-day weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and just enjoy the time with the family, do all the things we say we want to do together, including all the cooking and gifts and all the other stuff. Then when I plan out my week, the front part of my week is going to be front loaded with my priorities, work priorities. When you look at my milestones are going to be mainly work priorities. And then my last milestone is enjoy the holiday with the family. because family for me, from a broad perspective, is one of my most important values. So I need to write that down and be intentional about where I spend my time so that by Thursday morning, like we're ready to go, like we're firmly in family time. And then on my priorities for Thursday, one of my priorities is going to be cooking, right? And I'll have on my calendar, like I'm going to work back. Like if we want to eat dinner at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, we're probably going to eat later, right? If I'm going to work back from that, I need to know how long each thing is going to take. I'm trying to coordinate everything, what can keep earlier, what needs to be done last. And I'm putting on my calendar all the things that need to be done on my phone calendar. My priorities will reflect that. My priorities are going to be, you know, get everything done on time, finish cooking on time, enjoy the evening with family, which is the four of us this year, make the phone calls I need to make, right? All that stuff. Might even be mindset because we can get stressed during all of this. So one of my priorities might be mindset. It might be sure you're present. Put the phone down. Whatever that might look like for you. Whatever your struggle might be and where you need to have the most growth, that is going to need to happen, right? And same thing for Christmas. Christmas is going to be very, very similar. And my page is not going to be on Christmas Day. My page is not going to be detailed. It's not going to be, do this by this, do this by this, do this by this. I have to keep in mind, again, cooking. And if I can like we're going to make lasagna, I can have the lasagna done on Wednesday. So if it's important for me to not have to do it on Friday, I can have it all ready to go on Wednesday, right? That way it's just ready to be thrown in the oven and heated and eaten on Friday. And actually, 2-day-old lasagna is actually better anyway. So my daily page for Christmas Day is going to be very, very simple. Cook, enjoy the day. Make the holiday special for the boys. Call, and then maybe on the right side I have a list of people I want to make sure I call. I appreciate, what do I appreciate there? I will avoid. What am I going to avoid? I'm going to avoid letting it fly by without being present because I want to remember this. These years with my boys are flying by. I don't want to have my head in my phone the entire day and miss the whole thing. What's my theme for today? Merry Christmas, right? And again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Christmas. It can be your vacation. How many times do we go on vacation and it flies by and we didn't do half of the things we said we were going to do because we slept in too long? We thought, oh, I still have a lot more time. And the next thing you know, the week is over and we didn't do half what we wanted to do. That's where we use Define My Day. Because when you put it all on paper, when you schedule it into your phone calendar, and you realize, like, wow, like there's a lot of stuff I want to do. Maybe I start need to picking out what the priority is. If I don't want to be running nonstop through vacation, I need to pick some of these things that I can let go and not have to worry about these other things that are really important. I want to go to 10 different restaurants, but only have 5 days to do it. I want to do 10 excursions, but only have 3 days to do that. Each one takes 5 hours. I'm going to be exhausted. If I want to be able to sleep and be well rested to enjoy the next one, I can't do all of them. It's just to bring awareness so that we understand what we intend to do and connect it with what we are going to do. It's all the same. It's all the same process for work and play. If you want to enjoy the play, like you can be a free spirit, right? You can be like, you can just say whatever happens, happens. That's okay too, as long as it leads you to the result you want. If the end result of that is I'm a happier person, great. But if the result is regret for not spending the time where you wanted to spend it or letting the whole thing fly by and not experiencing it the way you wanted to, that's not good. That's why we need to be intentional. That's why we use Define My Day for holidays, weekends, vacations. So we don't wake up at the end of it and go, I missed it all. I missed it. I wasted it. I won't do that again next time. Really? What changes are we making so that we don't? It all depends on what your experience is. I'm not defining it for you. You define it for yourself. All right. Let me hit the comments, and then we're going to give away our 8-pack of pens. Anthony says, oh my God, those little things, especially married for a long time, you ignore those, your boats start to drift apart. Yep. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's the story with most marriages, is that they just stop. Like in the very beginning, you don't need to be intentional because you are sort of naturally intentional about focusing on the other person, right? And then as other distractions start coming in, you're not intentional anymore, and the normal is not normal. Yeah, don't do that. Don't forget about the daily disciplines. It's so important. So important. It's the foundation of your day. Debbie says, when I purposefully put off something, I ask myself, how's that working for me? Yeah, good question. I overschedule myself, and sometimes I have to force a realignment of my tasks and be reality based. That's huge. Huge. There are so many people that do what feels good in the moment, but leads to a bad end result. You can think of something in your own life, you can think of the people around you. They continuously do something that hurts themselves. And they're like, I'm happy with who I am. I'm happy with what I'm doing. Are you? Like, if you are, great. But if you're not, why? What are you doing now that needs to change that's leading to unhappiness? Because you're doing what's easy now or what feels good now, but it's leading you down the completely wrong path. That's what the whole Define My Day process is about. Getting on the path to where you want to go. How is this working for you? If the answer is, oh, right now things suck, something's not working, we need to fix it. Even hard times don't need to be terrible, right? Hard times, there are terrible things that happen to us. And there's things that we have to deal with all the time that are awful, from medically to interpersonal to economic. Like there's bad things that happen everywhere. We're living it right now this year, right? And it's the people that can continuously bring it back to their purpose and their values and make sure that no matter what happens, they're staying on the path that aligns with the purpose and values of their lives. Those are the people that weather this storm with a sense of grace and a sense of purpose and accomplishment. And they come out of it on the other end healthy. And that doesn't mean that we don't take our licks, that we don't take a beating, that we don't have setbacks, that we're not acting in a way that we wouldn't normally act outside of the situation. But you have to look at it every day and say, okay, where is this action leading me? Thank you, Debbie. Yeah, Angel says she used to be really bad at overscheduling herself. Yeah, me too. Sometimes I struggle with positive interactions, pandemic and all. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I do too. I'm going through it too. Like, we are all going through this right now. I am not, and I have to give myself some grace. I am not doing all of the things I need to do for myself. And I'm not doing the best I could do for other people either. And so sometimes I have to overcompensate for that. Sometimes I have to swing the other direction in a hard way to make myself feel like I'm doing the right thing or to give myself a reset. But as far as the overscheduling, going back to Angels about overscheduling herself, yeah, I did the same thing. And the startling thing for me, I talk about this a lot, you guys have heard this before. The startling thing for me was when I was driving home from work at a normal time, and I had this thought. I picture it driving down the hill towards a red light. And I had this thought, like, I felt guilty. I felt like I didn't do enough. But when I thought about what I wrote down on Define My Day, that I did that one thing. I said this was really important. I got that done. And now I'm driving home to be with my family for dinner. Nothing else mattered. I got the one important thing done. That's all. Like, if I could have left at noon, I should have left at noon because I got that one important thing done and nothing else needed to be done. I said that to myself when I wrote it down. And that's, we need to let things go. And so when you look at it, when you get the perspective of value and when you get the perspective of what matters, I can do an entire list of busy work and feel like I accomplished something because I have this list of busy work checked off. But there's this one really big important thing that's going to be life-changing over time, and I'm not doing it, I'm neglecting it. I'm not really doing anything, I'm not accomplishing anything. But you flip it and do that one really important thing and let all the busy work go because it's not important. And if it doesn't get done, does it really matter? Which is a question I ask myself a lot. If I don't do this, is anybody going to care? I asked that question many, many times. And if the answer was no, why am I doing it? Why am I doing it? Or can I do it when I'm tired? Can I do it when I'm exhausted? Can I do it when I'm listening to the radio or watching TV? If that's the case, I blended it with my downtime. But you got to bring your focus about so that you understand the really important things and do those first. And everything else just doesn't matter as much anymore. You have to have that hierarchy of value. Amy says, priority today is a simple dinner so we can view tonight's Bethlehem star shortly after sunset. We're going to try. I hope we can see it. I have struck out with a lot of the things that have been in the sky this summer. The Northern Lights last week we couldn't see. The comet earlier in the summer we could just not see. So we're going to try the star tonight. I should probably write that down too so I don't forget. Not a priority, but still want to get it done. Anthony says to keep it in the conscious until it's programmed in the subconscious. Very well said. D says, next week I plan to review my year and I need to make a plan to become more disciplined next year. Absolutely. The key part of this and the title of this session is going from planning to action. A lot of people base their well-being or their opinion of themselves, they base it on their intentions. At some point, we need to make that transition into action because we can intend to do a lot. We can intend to do a lot of different things. But if we're not actually doing the action, it's not real. So I would say, as I say to a lot of people, D, make sure you're taking the action. Make the commitment and follow through. Even if you follow through and find out you took the wrong action, that's okay. That's where we learn. But take action. All right, two final things before we take off. We will have the Black Friday deal, the late Black Friday deal where we do a 3-pack with the free 5-pack of pens, and we do the 5-pack with the 3 8-pack of pens. This is a $25 value, believe it or not. I couldn't believe it when I saw the retail price on this, but this is $25. So you get a discount on the 5-pack. The 5-pack of books is $60 right now, and then you get this for free. So you're basically getting $100 in value for $59. We have the Define My Day with Nick is going to happen in I think it's somebody corrected me on the date, and I looked it up, and she was right, and I didn't write it down. Talk about having your priorities straight. Come on, calendar. I think it's maybe the 18th. Is it January 18th? Kathy, if you're watching. So whatever the Saturday is, I believe it might be the 18th or the 16th. In January, we're going to do a Define My Day with Nick, which is going to be a day where we walk through the entire process with setting up your Define My Day. And then every week we're going to have a session, a live session where we talk about the previous week and the next week. And then we are going to do a one-on-one for each person in this group and go through your Define My Day, your struggles and your goals, and really whatever questions you have to go through your Define My Day. So look for that. It's Define My Day with Nick. It's going to be a pretty intensive, good initial day, and I think then we'll have that solid, um, the solid next couple of weeks to keep you on the right path and really launch you into 2021. I think it's going to be a great session. I'm really looking forward to it. I know we all need to start off to find my day in the right way, or start off 2021 in the right way. All right, so that is it for me. I'm going to give away the 8 pack of pens. And now, if you win, what I need you to do is email that you won to help@definemyday.com, and Luann will get these sent out to you. Please bear with us, though. The mail is really slow right now, so it might take a while. But you'll get them after New Year's, I'm pretty sure. All right. Gene Robinson from Proctor, Texas, is the winner of the 8 pack of pens. Congratulations. Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate it. Gene, remember to email help@definemyday.com and tell Luann that you are Gene and you won and you want your free pens, your 8 pack of pens. She'll know what we're talking about. All right, everybody. Listen, I'm going to take off. Have a great day. FYI, January 18th is Monday and Martin Luther King holiday. Okay, so Saturday, January 16th is the day we're doing Define My Day with Nick. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. Everybody, have a great week. Have a great holiday. We'll be back next week to talk about setting your priorities. We're going to be talking about that, the main Define My Day page. And we'll be closing out 2020 strong. Looking forward to it. Everybody have a Merry Christmas. Take care.